life is artwork. You might not understand this. The way that I spit is like putting strokes on the canvas. Taking notes of all the urban cries. Put it down, materialize, then watch as the paint dries. Better bet the ink, cause every time I think it's time to keep it flow while these other cats sing. No Titanic, too over dramatic. I feel like new edition in the brain now. Tell me, can you stand it? With each word I'm building me a steeple. And if you open my works up, there you'll find my cathedral. You got your wood stains, a little glass paint, but it all tell a story, man. Think that it can't. Where I come from, it's deer hunters and street guns. So I spray these words like the Uzi weighs a ton. It's that heavy. I'm pouring this out from my heart to give you the truth the way that you see is art. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything that spit is just like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. My description, better yet my mission is to visualize and give the world vision. Work to heal the streets with a little audio heat. And smooth it all out over laid back beats. A to the R to the T, Wisco flow. Like you're in a gallery and see a Picasso. But this ain't Picasso, baby. Even though it's like Jay, cause it's gon' drive the world crazy. This is for those admiring and looking. I heat it up for Instagram and Pinterest cooking. It's so acrylic every time that I spit it. My foliage show that I all get it. Speaking of, this art get wows and awes. Like a masterpiece that's up in the halls. Everything is so realistic, but better yet, man, yo, it's so artistic, cause now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything that's spit is just like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and everything that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. My glaze hand bring the pick on home. I'm just an artiste in the Midwest zone. Now it's a lot of cats that paint, but they ain't making art, cause they be lying from the very start. So I make it a point that I paint what I feel, cause I know deep inside what I feel is all real. And this exhibit don't end till I say so. Sincerely yours, Michael Tangelo. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and the way that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. Now you can tell by the voice that it ain't a joke, and the way that it spit is like a brushstroke. Paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture, paint a picture. Yo, this life is artwork. It's all artwork, baby. Welcome to my masterpiece, theater. Now you can go on and get a bootleg of it if you need to, you know what I'm saying?
We are the Real Bravado Network, and we address Black relationships from an image perspective. Image impacts and influences your life and life experiences. It also determines how you are treated and influence how people interact with you. Image is the reputation that you are known for, which includes your behaviors, your character, and your appearance. There's nothing more damaged than the image of the Black man in America. The Real Bravado Network's next phase of development with our live stream, Have the Conversation, will focus on his image. The Real Bravado Network will be asking, how can a Black man be a leader of his community and home when the vast majority of Black men have never been led? Leadership is taught and a skill that needs coaching, development, and refinement. Over the next few months, we will complete a forensic examination of his image. Please join the Real Bravado Network on YouTube, but we dare to be the bold, not silent.
She might not be a cinematic, but she's Superman to me. female with an honest smile. Feather earrings in with a fly hairstyle. Play her status, professional on lock, but on the weekend, like to show that black girls ride. She eat me like Sunday morning, this is good as it gets. Whether in a dress or heels or she in chucks and sweats. Ghetto girl going good, that's the reason I love her. At the gym 5 times a week to get in, her tough mother. Word to Jeffrey Osborne, this is my love ballad. LTD encouraged me, got me munching on salad. And she even got me backing off the dude. I don't know about you, but that's what the real wanna do. She don't like my late nights, but she respect my hustle. Put my head to her chest when she seeing the struggle. I know I'm blessed, they don't make many like her. She get a princess, man, I think I might wife.
My breath, my mind, my heart and soul. Beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got the best,
she bring the best to me.
She got the best,
no need to wait another day when it's this way. I know she was sent here to rescue me.
She got the best,
cause she was just too late.
She got the best. I know it's a lot to deal with me. I love on how she keep it real with me. Cause it's a lot of thoughts to do what I say so. But she simply shake her head and she be like, no. I love her physical, respect her mental. Fact, she's so spiritual, ain't coincidental. Now we both got our feet on soil. I can't do nothing but thank the Lord we living as royals. I remember being a big dude with small seams. She helped me stretch it out and turn it into huge dreams. Thelma Evans, good, swear she my best friend. With my pockets tight, she get the car to the ATM. I love when we're alone, she give me selfie poses. I tell her I appreciate her and she dig it more than roses. If Eve came from Adam, then she my rib. I've been waiting for a good one, let's have some kids.
My breath, my mind, my heart and soul. Beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got that last,
she bring the best to me.
She got that last,
no need to wait another day when it's this way. I swear she was here to rescue me.
She got that nasty ugly. She got that nasty ugly.
She took my breath, my mind, my heart and soul. Beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got that nasty ugly.
She bring the best to me.
She got that nasty ugly. She
no need to wait another day when it's this way. I know she was sent here to rescue me.
She got that nasty
cause she bring it just to life.
She got that nasty ugly.
She took my breath, my mind, my heart and soul. My beauty, but it's so much more. She my destiny.
She got that nasty ugly.
She bring the best to life.
She got that nasty ugly. She
no need to wait another day when it's this way. I swear she was sent here to rescue me.
She got that nasty ugly.
She bring it just to me.
She got that nasty ugly.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew plotting for my fall. You getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost. I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold. I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play it, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play it, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before. Ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all the spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play it, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me.
Yeah, let me cut that a little bit.
I don't play.
Let me cut that a little bit. All right, we're going to get going, get rocking and rolling. Listen, everybody, guess what? Normally, I have my full panel with me today, but I don't have my panel today. I do have a guest, but I don't have my panel today. And so I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, look, I don't have my panel today. Am I going to be able to do this? And then something came to my mind. Here, I want to play this. This what came to my mind when I thought about that, about what I need. What do I need? This is what I need right here. Y'all hear that?
One time. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, all I need is one mic, one beat, one stage, one nigga front my face on the front page. Only if
That's
I
all
had
I
one
need.
gun, one girl and one crib, one
We
God
gonna
to
rock
show
it
me
today,
how to
boy.
do things. It's Sunday pure, like
No
a cup
panel.
of virgin blood mixed with 151. One sip will make
All
a
we
nigga
need.
flip. Writing names on my hollow
That's
tips,
right.
plotting shit, mad balance. Who I'm gonna
like
body
the
this hood
monetize
politics,
to this
knowledge it.
show.
Leave bodies chopped up in garbages. Seeds watch us grow up and try to follow us. Police watch us roll up and try knocking us. One knee I duck, could it be my time is up? With my luck I got up, the cop shot again. Bus stop glass bursts, a fiend drops his Heineken. Ricocheting between the spots that I'm hiding in. Blacking out, I shoot back, fuck getting hit. This is my hood, I'm a rap to the death of it. To everybody come home, little niggas is grown. Hood rats, don't abortion your wound. We need more warriors soon. Sent
All
from
we
the
need
stars,
is
sun
one
and the
mic.
moon. And it's like a police chasing street sweepers and coppers. Stick up kids
We
with
gonna
no
get
conscience.
it today with one mic. No, we got more than one mic. I can't wait to bring up our guests. But let's get rocking and rolling. You know how we do it. We go ahead with the monologue. We introduce the topic, and then we get to the discussion, okay? So, yeah, we are the Real Bravado Network, and this is Have the Conversation. My name is Tavares Moore, but I go by TJ in my life. Listen, most of my life, I really never put much stock into anything related to image. Here at the Real Bravado Network, we talk about relationships from an image perspective. Up until a few years ago, I viewed images like this abstract thing that people with no substance cared about. I thought it was all about perception, like on a superficial level. But as I evolved, I realized how short-sighted I was. And image is a bit more than just perception, And when you take it seriously, it's nowhere near superficial. We define image over here as the reputation that a person is known for, which includes your behavior, your character, your appearance, and we are also adding the messaging, the message you are sending to the people also defines what image is, okay? So today, Interesting little topic. Conspiracy or economics? Now, let me tell you something. You know, black folks never met a conspiracy that they didn't like. We are the most conspiracy-driven folk out here. The biggest conspiracy is that for black folks is that the white man or the government wants to keep black people down. That's one of the biggest conspiracy that we all universally accept as to be true. The more I have learned about our social and political system, the more I'm starting to come to the conclusion that the white man or the government has no interest in holding black people down. Now, I know I just made like nearly every black person that's going to watch this, like give me the side eye with that one, with that statement. What do you mean the United States government don't got no interest in holding us down? They do not. But the United States government has no interest in keeping black people down. They don't have to do that because guess what? We do an excellent job of that of our own. They don't have to keep us down when we do it to ourselves. We can't get along for no reason regarding no issue. Not a single issue can we as a collective have one voice over. We go out of our way to bring extra smoke to other black folks, especially the people on our jobs. Think about all the black folk on the job and how they can't stick together. We will go out of our way and serve another black person on the altar of the white supervisor just because. But yet we sit around here talking about the man trying to keep us down or the white man or the system trying to keep us down, but yet we'll go ahead and serve each other up for whatever, you know, insignificant beef that we have with one another. We don't give each other grace and mercy, but we are always forgiving the outsiders who come in and commit extremely violent acts against each other. How many times have you seen families on TV in front of cameras talking about they forgive the white cop that killed their son or daughter? I don't hold no hate. I forgive them. Forgive them. Oh, so we can forgive that. But we can't forgive somebody who might step on our toes or our shoes. But we can forgive that. No. This country has no interest in keeping us down. There's no benefit to that. There's no benefit to keeping us down. However, there is a benefit to keeping us apart. There's a difference. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our black women. I haven't had a conversation about our black women since December when we did that 2-part stream called Queen Mother. And I'm begging anyone to go back and watch Queen Mother. That was one of our better streams. Very well thought out, put together, research, dynamic streams, Queen Mother. It's a 2-part series. Watch. If you don't watch anyone, watch the first one. But let's talk about black women. I'm talking about black women as and I'm going to be nice, okay? But black women as a collective on a political level have helped the Democratic Party crawl to a victory in the 2020 election. The election of Joe Biden is on the backs of black women. Don't get it twisted. Many of our black women are wholeheartedly brilliant. Our black women are a force of nature. Black men know this better than anybody else, anybody else, full stop. But white people, more specifically white women, have put battery packs on our women for their own selfish need and gain. Black women have gone from attentive citizens participating in the democracy and maintaining their families to the saviors of to the saviors of the American democracy. So here we go. Black woman to the rescue. Multiple movements in this country has taken advantage of that dynamic within our black women, taking advantage of them being a force of nature. The biggest movement that is the biggest offender of this in America is the modern American feminist movement. Yep, Black women to the rescue. In my humble opinion, American feminist movement facilitated, or at the very least, lit the match that gave the average Black woman's mindset of I'm independent and I don't need no man. An overwhelming attitude of most of our Black women have that they are simply better, smarter, stronger, and more valuable than their average Black man. Why would Black women think that? Black women, I mean, why wouldn't they think that? Black women are in charge of the Black culture. So I understand the mindset. The basic opinion of the average Black man is that the American feminist movement was not the business of Black women, that we had no business getting involved in that mess. The issues that white women had with their men did not exist for Black people. Her man controlled the white man, her man, the white woman's man. He controlled the American identity, the American way of life, the American experience. He also controls what it means to be an American. Also controls who is considered an American. And he also controls the American economic system. And white women wage war on their men for a piece of the American pie. White women said that they wanted their own financial resources. They wanted to go to work. They wanted more of a say in the family dynamic, the family structure, the social structure of America. Black women already had a say within their family structure. So let me ask this question. When in history of Black people in this country have our women ever been under the control, direction, leadership of a Black man? When? When have Black men ever had the economic, social, or political power to oppress our women and keep them from upward mobility? Whenever... I'm just going to leave that question out there right there like that. Now, watching the civil rights movement in full swing, the white women noticed Black women standing side by side up front with their men, having near equal identical voices within that movement, and white woman wanted that with her man. And they saw in our woman a potential ally because, as Sir Jordan True said, ain't I a woman? White women came in, joined the civil rights movement. I almost say they infiltrated the civil rights movement. And they were able to exploit and convince Black women that they were having the same issues with their man as she was with her white man. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And when they were able to do that, poof, Black woman to the rescue. She aligned with that white woman. Our earliest prominent, one of our earliest prominent Black women that we celebrate inserted herself into an all-women's conference and insisted on speaking, and that speech became the anthem for the modern feminist movement. I was going to play it, but I'm not going to play it. I'm talking about the Ain't I a Woman speech that was delivered by Sojourner Truth at the women's conference in Akron, Ohio, which is where LeBron James was born, by the way, in 1851. She was not expected to speak. She stormed the stage in response to white men storming into the convention, and they wanted to shut the convention down because these white women were getting too rowdy, and Sojourner Truth got on the stage and screamed and deemed with all the force that a Black woman can, ain't I a woman? Which became the rallying cry and still is for the modern feminist movement. Sojourner Truth had no business doing that. She wanted to assimilate into white culture so much that she gave them what they did not have, a rally cry. She had other fights to fight that were way more important than the white woman's plight against her man. We're not even going to talk about the LBG community, how they're coming in and confiscating and infiltrating, you know. So why? So why keep us apart and not down? That's what I'm about to get into a little bit. It's not a conspiracy like we think. There's no conspiracy to keep us down. I want to ask this question. Why does it seem that every institution or system in this country have policies or practices that target Black people? Quietly as it kept, Black people across the Black experience, we are very superstitious people. This is why we fall for conspiracies. So it's not too much of a stretch or a surprise that Black folk are quick to believe and spread conspiracy theories, especially if something happened to somebody that share a reflection that is prominent in our community. Whether these theories are true or not, I would argue that the theories themselves reveal much more about the concerns of the contemporary Black regarding law, medicine, economics, politics, and media. The theories represent a critique of a major institutions and social systems by people who and have been foreclosed from full participation in them systems. Anti-Black conspiracy theorizing generates a counter response to exclusion and discrimination by mobilizing collective Black self-interest in a way that contributes to the growth and the strength of the Black sphere. What I'm saying, here's what I'm saying. When we latch on to and hold on to the fact that they're trying to keep us down, and when we're focused on that, it's counterproductive to where we need to be and to our actual outcomes, okay? So real quickly, let me define conspiracy. A conspiracy is a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. It's a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. So in order to have a conspiracy, the plan must first be a secret. So my beautiful Black people, let me say this, and this might hurt a little bit. There is no conspiracy against Black people because everything in this country regarding how they interact with us is done in the open. That's not a secret. It's not a conspiracy. Believe it or not, it's economics. There's a real economic benefit for having the breakdown of the Black family. Our breakdown is all about economic resources. When you don't have Black families, and let's be honest, we really don't. A woman and children is not a family. It's a woman with a bunch of kids. Let's talk numbers. I know people get bored with talking about the numbers. Nearly half of Black workers are concentrated in a couple fields: healthcare, retail, and the service industry, the food service industry. The vast majority of Black workers within those industries are in the lower paying part of those service roles rather than the professional management roles. The median wage for all workers in the United States, the median income for all employees, Black, white, or different, is $42,000 a year. But 43% of Black workers earn about $32,000 a year. That's Black women, I'm sorry. As a total group, we don't earn a lot of money, but we manage to be worth 10% of the country's economy. Black households contribute about $1.2 trillion to the United States economy. Black people in this country have more money in the United States than Italy, Spain. We have damn near just as much money as Denmark, Norway, and Black folks got more money than Russia, the big bad country that the United States is always talking about. Black folks in this country, collectively, we have more money than the government of Russia. Black folks contribute more money in the United States than 10 other industrialized European countries. If we were our own country, we would be a powerhouse all unto ourselves. So where I'm going with this, one of the largest institutions in this country depend on black dollars is education, higher education. In the United States, women owe the majority of the outstanding $1.7 trillion in student loan debt. As of 2020, women held $929 billion in outstanding student loan debt. Black women receive, and this what I'm about to say is not a knock. This is a good thing to a degree. Black women, of all the bachelor's degrees earned in this country, 64% of those degrees are earned by Black women. 71% of master degrees are earned by Black women. And it's a little over 57% of all PhDs are earned by Black women. Black women earn more degrees than any other group in this country. Black, white, male, or female, Black women do. So what does that mean? These institutes are thriving on the backs of Black women. But here's the question, how are Black women benefiting from that? Get bragging rights, get the ability to hold that over lesser educated Black men. You make that as a qualifier for mating with you. That's what our women get for being the most educated group in this country. But if we go back to blackdemographics.com, for statistics for Black people by Black people, Black women average salary is $32,000 a year. That includes women with education. Only 9% of Black women in this country make over $70,000 a year. 9%. You know, I'm not knocking higher education. Listen, I got an undergrad degree and 2 grad degrees. I got it. But when an institution or a company or a sector of an economy specifically focus on a particular group, especially Black folk, like they do Black people, ask the question, why are they targeting you? What is their goal? And what will be the outcome if you support it? Now, that's the question of what we're going to talk about today a little bit, amongst a few other things. I do have, believe it or not, I have a PhD with me today. We're going to bring her up, okay? Dr. Ray. We're going to bring her up. Hello, Dr. Rain. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Thank you for joining me at such a short notice. You know, we had another guest and they couldn't make it, so I appreciate you filling in for me.
No worries, no worries. Like you say, yeah. One mic. I was feeling it with Nas. Yeah. I was digging that one. Yeah, I was with you.
Yeah, one mic. Sometimes you don't need a whole crew. Sometimes you got a message and you just got to deliver that message.
Absolutely.
All you need is a mic, right? So here we go. You know, our women, our Black women. You know, you are. Well, first introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself, because I'll get right into it.
No, you're fine. So again, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Royal Rain, and I am affiliated with a fellow podcast, which is The Experience. That is what we are known as now. And so my background is in education. So as TJ expressed, my doctorate is in education. And so I have a husband, been married for 20 years, 5 children. So I'm ready to jump into this whole conversation because my friend, I love you, but we got to have some conversation.
Yeah, we do. We do. Because here's the thing, over here, we talk about relationships,
Right.
That's our primary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, the reason why I brought up this topic is I was at work and I was talking to a lady and she's 47, single. She's she's a nurse practitioner, which means she has a master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear all the time she said my least favorite line to hear to come out of a lady's mouth. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
but I need somebody on my level. And I'm like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what does that mean on your level? What level
Mm-hmm.
are you on?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, I can't get no, if you not bringing to the table. And that's another thing. I hate the table. We're all furniture around here. She can't bring what I'm bringing. I ain't trying to take care of no guy. And so I asked her, I said, listen, if the average regular old brother makes $45,000 a year, why does that mean why does that make you think you got to take care of that? That man can take care of himself.
Absolutely.
So I understand our women you heard me, the 67% of all bachelor degrees are gotten by Black women. But what are our women gaining with all of that education in relation to their men?
So I'm gonna tell you. So I forgot to share this with the viewers. So my favorite saying is, "Please don't let this light skin fool you all." For those of y'all that don't know, you can laugh with me, TJ. It's all love, baby. So let me explain something to people before I jump into this, and because I don't want the viewers to be like, "Who is that white woman up there?" Listen, y'all. Disclaimer and education for 101 really quickly. I am an African American woman born with albinism. Okay, so this right here, I need to get my hair done because it's a little poofy at the end. But this is an old blowout. All right. So what I'm sharing with you all is I'm speaking from an African American woman perspective. Okay, just so that the audience knows. Okay, now that disclaimer is out. What are women getting? Honestly, it depends on that woman. And I say that respectfully, because to your point, you said that the benefits included having that title, holding it over the man's head. And it was a third one, and I forgot to write that down.
Bragging rights.
And the bragging rights. So let me explain something. Again, it just depends on, to me, how that woman sees herself, okay, from a value standpoint. Because as a woman with a doctorate, I don't go around. Matter of fact, when people call me Dr. Gray or Dr. Rain, I get tickled at it, honestly, TJ, because I'm humbled about it. I don't need that. And I'm gonna use the show name. I don't need that bravado. Because you understand what I'm saying? Because I can stand my works and who I am as a character stand on its own without me dangling that thing over you, my brother, or anybody else. But there are women who feel like, and unfortunately, and you spoke to this, there are women that go around, well, I am Dr. This, and I and these shoulder movements that I'm doing, like that's the air that they're breathing and leaving to permeate wherever they are. And I feel really bad for those women because, love, you're not all that you saying you are. You kicking out a facade. That's my 10 cents on that. Like I just don't get it. I really don't. And then when you speak to the comment of somebody that's my equal, sweetie, you about to miss your blessing. Because I don't even know bravado, but what I'm sharing is bravado might be that dude. But because you here, you're going to miss out on a good man. because you got it. I got it. I got it. Baby, you ain't got nothing but a hot air, a whole lot of hot air.
Yeah, and I don't like this notion that here's the other thing. This notion that our women are out earning our black men is just not true. Even with education, it's nowhere near true.
It is not.
It is nowhere near true. There's a small subsect of our women who are earning 9% of our women earn over 70 grand a year. Our average black woman makes, if you want to put it down into dollars, the average black woman makes $16 an hour. And these are women with degrees, with full degrees, some of them with grad degrees.
Absolutely.
For those of you who don't know what a grad degree is, a master's.
Master's or above. That's right.
Yes.
And I will tell you, as being transparent to the audience, my husband does not have a bachelor's degree, right? But before he retired, he was actually making more money than I. My point is, and I had a grad degree. I had my master's during that period in time before he retired. My point is supporting what you're saying. Don't get it twisted. Like, unless you know how to maneuver and take that arrogance out and again, make those maneuvers, make those networks and connections so that you can get to the next level, you're going to be right there in that $40,000, $50,000 range. And that's the God knows truth.
Yeah, that's what you're going to stay.
Absolutely.
But a lot of our ladies, that's not good enough for them. And I've started talking about what $40,000 or $50,000 is, talking about it in terms of the actual professions that generate that income. And I say to the sisters, so you're saying a high school teacher is not good enough for you? So you're saying a man who works for social services isn't good enough for you? That's a well-educated man.
Right.
So you're saying a firefighter is not good enough for you? I was at Panda Express today.
Yeah.
They had, the for sale signs up there and all of these different levels of positions and what they pay. I about fell over when I got to the top. I don't know why I didn't start from the top and work my way down, but whatever. The top position was the store manager, and it had the salary next to it. Each level had the salary next to it.
Gotcha.
A Panda Express store manager. By the way, that one had a brother working there.
Okay.
The starting, you know what? Let's take a guess what the starting salary was.
For the manager?
Yep.
Starting
you know what Panda Express is, right?
Oh, I know it. Yeah, I got you. So I was getting ready to guess. Starting salary, about 55.
About 55. Panda Express. $107,000.
Boy, you better shut up. Where that man at, Lord? I'm sorry, husband. Listen, baby, are you serious? Wow.
That's without profit sharing, bonuses.
Right.
None of that. None of that. When I was
who would have thought it?
When I was an undergrad, I worked at Walgreens and I became an assistant manager while I was an undergrad, and I was making about $16 an hour, but I participated in profit sharing because I was an assistant manager, and that money was easily, so that $16 an hour, we know what that is. That's 32 grand a year. Right. So with profit sharing, that gave me another $20,000.
It does.
That manager, that store manager made 75. He got 10% profit sharing from the store.
Right.
So his income was over 100 grand. Yep. We're not even including what the pharmacy manager made. Right. Because Walgreens got a store manager and a pharmacy manager.
That's right. I'm with you.
So we're talking about, so I started looking at the actual professions. So we have women around here literally turning their nose up at men. I said, most ladies have no idea.
Listen, you see, I didn't.
what brothers are out here making and earning. We call them regular old brothers.
That's right.
Regular old brothers, non-flashy, regular old brothers. Right. I think I saw some, now in the last 10 years, Black women, I think home ownership have gone up 30%. They still don't own more property than their average Black man. I wish I would have had it with me. I was kind of surprised because I was like, wait a minute, because you know what, especially black women, you know, there's 75% of our black women are single and got their own home, but they still don't have in assets more than the regular old brother, more than the $45,000 a year brother.
That's right.
And we're thumbing our nose up at these regular old brothers for whatever reason.
For whatever reason. You're right. You're right. Absolutely. And that's why I said they're doing a disservice to themselves.
Yes. Here's the other thing that I want to, because it's conspiracy or economics. I keep telling people there is money in us not being together.
Right.
Dr. Rain, they can't sell you and your husband 2 homes without you guys making money off of it.
That's right.
But me and my lady got 2 homes. They're making money off of us. Not the other way around. There's money in us being single. They get to sell 2 sets of everything because we refuse to get together for the stupidest reasons. I mean, I don't know what else to say behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you drove home a good point earlier too about us being separate. There, when you have in a home, say you have 2 incomes, which is your point, your buying volume increases.
Yes.
That bottom line increases, which allows more opportunity for the benefit of the family. But again, you have to be smart about what you're doing with your money. But that's a whole other conversation, right? But
and then you're smarter with money as a couple because guess what you got? You got
accountability. You got accountability. That's
checks and balances.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then and it's crazy how and I really appreciate you bringing out the fact of the difference between trying to hold us down as a people versus trying to keep us apart, because the women's, again, and I agree with you, the women's movement is not serving we as Black women. Is doing the complete opposite. The complete opposite. And it's unfortunate that we don't recognize what the system is actually doing. Yes. And all you got, and like you said, it's not hidden. All you got to do is just stop for a minute and just pay attention. Pay attention to the social and the political climate and the constructs that are arranged. And if you just pay attention, be quiet, stop running your mouth, right? Just be quiet for a moment and pay attention, observe, and you'll see. Case in point, when we look at our housing, subsidized housing. Let me start there, right? Who population-wise are the ones that's qualifying for subsidized housing?
It's our unwed single mothers.
You see what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, have you noticed, and I'm sure you have you noticed that there is very, very little resource out there, housing or otherwise, for our Black men?
There's none.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, why is that? That's the question. And it has nothing to do with conspiracy theory, not in that sense. Again, it's just
Remember, I said as conspiracy, in order to have a conspiracy, one, it has to be done in secret.
That's right, and it's not.
They don't do nothing in secret with us. They don't need to. They don't need to. They don't absolutely. You know, I had a person tell me all the time, why do you watch Fox News? I said, because they openly talk about what they want to do to us.
They do.
I might not like it, but that's why you watch it. Now, you know, I'm a big proponent of education. Like I said, I was going to run off the screen and got them. I got my degree sitting right over here. I used to keep them on the screen, you know, but so I'm a big fan of education. You know, the lady I'm seeing, I got with her, and the first thing I said to her was, you got to get an education, you know? But that is doing something to our women, especially when you have any institution that financially is failing, they start pivoting towards our Black women and marketing things to our Black women. I was looking for the article and the story and I could not find it, but I can't remember if it was Stanford. It was a school. It was like a school in California, a big time school, and I believe it was Stanford. They were offering these certificate programs to Black women and charging like $70,000-$80,000 for a certificate program just because it said Stanford on it. And they got into a lot of trouble because they were overcharging these women and they could not get they would go for a semester, get this, and they could not get a job. Guess who else was doing it? But they escaped.
Who? Harvard.
Harvard.
Their business program.
When they saw Stanford getting it, Harvard quietly got rid of theirs. Quietly, I had a real quick. I got an educator, a man. You said you work in education?
Yes.
Okay.
Higher ed. I'm
okay,
higher ed.
Okay, so higher ed. So I got a brother who sent me some. I interviewed him a little bit about this subject. I'm gonna play that too. Okay, give me a second.
Cool.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Listen, this is a pre-recorded segment. So we're gonna break in real quick just for this pre-recorded segment. I want to thank Mr. Tyrell for coming through and helping us out on this. We're going to get to it real quick. But I have a clip from the Karen Hunter show talking to women about their education. After that, I'm gonna bring up my special guest and we're gonna talk about more about the impact of student loan debt. Okay, just give me a second here. Let me go ahead and hit this clip for you.
I won't involve you. 45 million Americans collectively owe 1.7 trillion in student loan debt. That has been from Bernie Sanders, everyone saying just cancel the debt. And now the study comes out that you guys spearheaded that women hold nearly 2/3 of that debt. And as we dig down into the numbers, it's Black women. Let me start with Brittany, since you were the lead researcher. When you discovered this, what were your thoughts and how should we be perceiving these numbers?
I want to give some quick context or background to this. The Education Trust published a report recently on the experiences of Black borrowers. And so the lead researcher there was Dr. Jaleel Mustaf and Victoria Jackson and oh my goodness, Dr. Jonathan Davis. They did great work around this topic, and it would not be fair to call me the lead here, but definitely a co and support on this Black woman piece with Victoria Jackson. And after the report came out, and there was so much information that we knew we still wanted to highlight on this topic, when Victoria and I and the team began to think about what other pull-out pieces, what other highlight pieces we wanted to deliver messages for, it was a no-brainer to do a Black woman piece because both Victoria and I, the co-authors, are Black women, and we both have our own particular experiences with student debt. And so drilling down the numbers and thinking through the process, for us, it was a for sure topic that just needed to be highlighted.
So of the $1.7 trillion, Amisha Cross, and I said before you came in, this stat has always been kind of circulating that Black women hold the most degrees of anybody in the country. So when I saw this, I was like, of course, they would probably also hold the most student debt.
All right, Mr. Tyree. Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. We're gonna get back to it. So Karen Hunter, that's the lady who hosts the show. She has a show on Sirius XM on the what's it called? Urban View channel on Sirius XM. But one of the things that surprised me the most was when I did not know that Black women are now coming out with the most degrees, but they're also carrying the biggest part of the student loan debt. So how does that impact how we interact? Because everything is about, how does that impact how we interact with one another? The fact that our women are carrying all of this debt. And I think the number is about $71,000 on average.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think there's a lot that needs to be done in education, like in order to make a difference, like to actually change this. Many of you might not know, my name is Terrell Key. I'm a former school counselor, won Illinois School Counselor of the Year, president of Illinois School Counselors Association, former president anyway. And like, so as a former school counselor, like, college and career planning was like one of my things, or whatever. And what I noticed, man, a lot of times, like in our community, like we have this huge push, like where it's really, really important for us to get our kids to go to a 4-year college right away. And it's unfortunate, man, like, like that sometimes because you don't come from money, that it might not be the best opportunity for you. Like, say, for example, if you want to go to a private school, let's say like Spelman, like the school is going to cost you probably about $43,000 a year, but you might only get a $3,000 scholarship. Say you're a great student, you worked hard. So like, I mean, like that's an issue, man. Like, so I don't know, man, we probably need to look at like what type of majors Black women are leaving with, and then looking at the pathways that they actually go into college. Like, are they looking at community college, like to reduce the cost and stuff like that? I mean, it's tough, man. And then you said like, how does it fit into like how we relate to each other? Like,
Yes.
like in relationships and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's tough, man. Like you taking on like a tremendous amount of debt, in this relationship and stuff like that. Man, that's a really tough call. I mean, it really also depends on the major too. Like, say, for example, if you are getting with someone that's maybe potentially an educator, or if they're gonna do like any type of public service work, like that helps kids that or like in need and stuff like that. Something like that, you could potentially have that loan debt removed. So there's a lot that really goes into it. It's like, what degrees are Black women getting, like that are leading to these debt? I mean, I know like a lot of people getting PhDs and master's degrees, like these higher ed degrees. Like, what are the subjects that they're in? I think that would be an interesting, thing to know. And I don't know. So.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, the majority. Go ahead, Dr. Rain.
Oh, no. I was just going to interject really quickly. When we start talking about debt, we have to consider financial literacy in all of this, because oftentimes what happens is in undergrad, everybody knows about refund checks, right? But it's really not a refund.
No.
It's money that was allocated for your education based on your FAFSA, right? And then they distribute it to the school. Our young people and older people do not understand that is the beginning of this insurmountable debt. Okay, and so in undergrad, we're getting the maximum allowance, and instead of number one, either declining some of it, getting what we need to pay for our education, instead of making that declination, we just take the quote unquote refund and spend it. Okay. Then when we go into the master's, the graduate level, oftentimes there is no free money. Okay. Because that's the benefit of the bachelor's, right? And getting your certificates. You can either pay out of pocket, or again, there is free money that is accessible. When you hit that grad level, that's when the free money starts to kind of decline, unless you are able to access some scholarships, right? Which are few far in between, to be honest with you. Again, depending on what your degree is, to what my fellow gentleman just spoke to. That master's and that doctorate is where the bulk of that debt is coming from, if you were not smart with your bachelor's. So that it makes perfect sense when you stop and think about it, because we're not knowledgeable about how to financially navigate ourselves so that we don't accrue all this debt.
I have to admit, I was not, because let me tell you something, especially when you are a first gen college person, like I was in my family, like many people are coming in now. There was nobody to walk me through this process.
Yep.
When I got my financial aid packet, and they took out all of that, for the tuition and books and stuff like that, there was $7,000 left.
Right.
I did not understand to decline that.
That's
I was
right.
like, oh, took it. Well, I took it, one, because you're hungry.
Amen. That's right.
You need transportation.
Right.
If you're a dude, you want to take a girl out. When you're in college, when you're an undergrad, you ain't got no money.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? You want to do stuff. And so, yeah, I did not know. I'm going to be honest with you. I did not even know about the full length of scholarships and stuff that were out there. Yeah, and then my grad degree, both of them were 100% financed with student debt. I own debt. So and neither one of those, we're not. And here's a dirty little secret that nobody wants to talk about with all this education.
Come through. What is it?
90% of us are not even using it. The job that I have that has given me the most money in the last 6 years was based on an associate's degree.
Look at that.
I went to undergrad, grad school twice. And all just to go back and get an associate's degree. If you saw the t-shirt in the interview I was doing with them, it said respiratory therapist on it. That's an associate's degree. Became a six-figure man with an associate's degree. It's disgusting.
But you know what? And that's where the misconception, and I love how my brother a few moments ago was just sharing, like, we have got to do a better job of educating both our young brothers and our young sisters about, number one, financial aid literacy, first and foremost. Secondly, and honestly, more importantly, is to understand having, we call it stackable credentials, okay? Having those stackable credentials, which are certificates or an associate degree with certificates to help you elevate economically.
Yeah, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Absolutely. Without the debt.
My original career, working in social services, my dream job was to actually was to run the Urban League in my hometown.
Okay.
Because I always thought, I worked for the Urban League for, 10 years. Loved the Urban League, loved their mission, love what they're all about. I think they're more of a civil rights organization than the NAACP, but the Urban League is the conservative wing of civil rights. People don't know that, though.
Yes, sir. I'm with you.
The Urban League is very conservative. People don't really realize that. That's why, if you are a man work for the Urban League, you got to wear a shirt and tie. You know what I mean? You got to have a certain look. You have to have a certain way of speaking, and you got to be polite. You're not thrown out there, even if you might be the head of your division at the Urban League. You're not thrown out in public unless you are groomed to their satisfaction. They're a very conservative organization, probably one of the more effective civil rights organizations out there. You see how much of an Urban Leaguer I still am? So I wanted to run the one in my hometown because it's a dumpster fire, in my opinion.
Okay.
Until this day. But so I was always taking, that's why I went and got the 2 grad degrees. My one grad, I got an MBA in public administration. That's all about running the Urban League. And then I have a master's in management and leadership. It's all about running the Urban League. You know what I mean? And I ended up burning out of social services. The one thing that I was never, and I will never claim to be, which is politically savvy. I'm not politically savvy, which is why there was a cap for me, and then I pivoted and moved on to something else. You know what I mean?
Sir.
Which is the respiratory, because I just can't. For me, I can't do the politics. No, I'd rather fight. I'd rather have a fist fight with you than the politics. That's because politics ain't nothing but a fight. I'd rather just have the fist fight. Let's see the best man win. But see, that's an old man way of thinking, Neanderthal way of thinking. So I could never do the political game with the Urban League. But yes, we are out here not using our degrees. And then And then this, when you factor in that most of our women are feminists, they don't even know that they're full-fledged feminists. They don't know that their talking points are not their talking points. They don't understand that's
propaganda.
Propaganda, and it's been passed on, and then they run into a regular old brother who ain't got time for none of that,
right.
and who should be the best thing for them. What they do, they go to war with that brother,
right,
and don't understand that there's a whole economic machine.
Yep.
Let me tell you something, and I wish I had a stadium full of black women right now to talk to. If you think the country went south when it shut down with the COVID epidemic, and that only impacted the economy by what 1-2%. The economy went belly up, where the government had to come in and give all these checks.
Bailouts.
Yes, all of this stuff happened,
right.
And that was only a 1 or 2% dip in the economy. Imagine if you pull out our 10%, what it would do to this economy.
Right.
What it would do to this country.
Right.
It will bankrupt this country. There is a whole, while we're talking about conspiracy, somebody holding us down, they don't want us held down. They want us apart. There's a difference. There is a difference. I am going to be on March 15th. I'm going to be interviewing 3 generations of women. I'm calling it 3 generations. They're really not 3 generations, but they're 3 different age groups: 20 to 25, 25 to 35, and 35 and up.
Got it.
And we're going to be talking about their mindset and what it's cost them, and the separation that has gotten, and the fact that we don't have any because of their mindset. And one of the things that I hope to accomplish now with that interview is to have these different ages of ladies, especially the ones in that 20 to 25 bracket, to see that the ladies that's 25 to 35 and the ladies that's 35 and up, that they all talk the same.
Absolutely.
And they should not.
Right.
And they all have the same outcome.
And like I said, the only way they won't have the same outcome is if they learn how to, again, use their skill set or their degree in order to navigate correctly. It's all about navigation. And that's seriously. And even to the conversation earlier, going into a career field or study that's actually warranted. Like hospitality right now is big, but nobody's really going into hospitality. There's money to be made in hospitality, right? But we're so focused right now on, and I'm not knocking STEM, but we're so focused on STEM that market is becoming overly saturated with our non-melanated counterparts and other minority groups, that unless you, I'm going back to my word, unless you have some credentials, that degree don't hold water.
Don't hold
against your counterpart.
Because they got that 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take it a step further. And or the mere fact that, again, I'm going to get in trouble. They're the more popular choice. You like how I said that, boo? You like how I put that? They're the more popular choice over you.
Yeah.
And that's where politics come into play. And it is what it is. I can't even sugarcoat it.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap up what he got to say, then we'll come back and wrap up because I didn't plan to be on this long. Hold on a second. Majority of our women, they go into hold on here. I'm trying to scroll because I do have it. You know what
Okay.
the majority of our Black women, their employment is in the majority. They're concentrated in healthcare, retail, some type of accommodation or food service, and the majority of the degrees that are to get are somewhat similar. They're surrounding in the humanities. Now, there's this notion that our Black women are like, because they get this education, that they're earning the bag. But according to the Census Bureau and the Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the average Black woman earns only about $32,000 a year. That's about $16 an hour.
Right.
And that's with an education. But they're coming out with $71,000 worth of debt. And then a lot of our women are weaponizing their education against their Black male counterparts. So, you know, I was like I said earlier in the statement, earlier in my thing, that, you know, it's not a conspiracy, it's economics. When we are not together, you know, here's the thing, we're not together. So, you know, you as a woman, you're earning $30,000 or $40,000 a year, and your average Black man earns about $45,000 a year. So they can sell you a house and her a house. They can sell you a car and her a car. You know, everything is economic based. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that wasn't that much left after that. But yeah, obviously, yeah, that brother, he gave some good insight. Absolutely. And also, I'm going to reiterate what I just said to him on that thing. You know, I don't know another analogy to use, but what I'm about to use. So please forgive me for being a little graphic about it. Black folk or Black family, we're like a stage 4 cancer patient who's been sent home on hospice. But we're pretending like we're a 25-year-old basketball player in his prime. I'm talking about when you're talking about the Black family structure. And I'm telling people right now, you know, especially when I talk to ladies, you know, it's, you know, there's money in us being apart. They don't care nothing about, you know, anything with us. Don't let this over policing, the police brutality, the local stuff fool you. You know, yeah, that's a problem too. But the larger culture, the larger country, they ain't got no interest in holding you down. They actually cringe when they see these officers or these what happens on the local level, because it affects their bottom line. And our ladies got to start accepting, and then we're gonna, when I do that, that special, I'm calling it Conversations with Our Sisters. When I do that special, we're gonna talk about how we choose our men on top of that. You know, I talked about, I think last week on my stream I talked about, you know, that our women, this whole thing about settling. We need to have a come to Jesus meeting about this whole term, what you're not going to settle for. How are you going to be 50 years old talking about what you're not going to settle for? I've heard, my grandmother is 80 years old and talks about what she's not going to settle for. Everybody settles because everything that you're not going to get everything you want in your head in another human being. That's impossible. I never would tell anybody, man, woman, or whoever, to accept, you know, unfair treatment or behavior. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about our women rejecting qualified, bona fide, qualified, regular old brothers, all because of some obscure thing that don't nobody understand. But I'm going to have that come to Jesus meeting with those ladies when I have them. There's 6 of them. I'm going to have the come to Jesus meeting with them about that. What do you mean settle? You 50-year-old woman and you still single, and if you got a man that coming in, I hate to break the news to you. You're not settling. He's settling for you. It ain't fair.
A compromise. Is it a compromise?
Might be. My philosophy is that what I try to tell people, and I don't know if I said it on you guys' stream or not when you guys had me on, but I always say, we as Black folk, we got to make a new deal. FDR created a new deal for America. Black folk, Black men and Black women need a new deal with each other. And we got to kick out crap like what we ain't settling for. Let me tell you something. You know, there are things that are just not fair, and that you got to accept are not fair. Ladies, if you are over 40, it's not fair, but you're not the prize at 40 years old. Sorry. You're not the prize at 40 years old. Brothers, I know it's not fair, but if you got a big belly like me and get winded walking up one flight of stairs, you're not a prize. You know, but we gotta come to terms with some stuff. You know, we gotta figure out what's actually important. We need to go after what's important. Every Black woman can't marry Idris Elba or what they think he is.
Right.
Every brother in this country ain't 6'1". The average man in this country is 5'10". I'm 5'11". I'm slightly above average. I'm very proud of that. Slightly above average. I tell people, I tell a woman all the time, you're winning with me because I'm slightly above average. You're winning. You know, but no, with us, there's Dr. Royal Rain, listen, there's so much going on with Black folk issues, man. I think we have a bottomless pit of issues. But we got to start somewhere. One, we got to deal with the settling thing. Two, we got to understand that it's not a conspiracy. It's economic, what they're doing to us. And the fact of the matter is that they're making a whole bunch of money off of us being single. They're taking they're helping you weaponize your degrees to make it seem like that you earn more. You know, the brother Kevin Samuels used to talk about the worst Black woman to date is a nurse. And he doesn't understand. People don't understand why he said that. It's because of the mindset. You got a nurse who can make, if she works 5 days a week, you know, and let me tell you something, it's hard work because they're 12-hour shifts.
It is.
You got a nurse who can bring home $220,000 a year. With the feminist mindset, bringing home $200,000 a year, living in a $300,000 house, and you just a regular old bro. And then she talking about, I need you on my level. And I tell nurses all the time, go get you one of these doctors. Oh, that's right. Dr. Patel don't want you and your 5 kids.
He sure does not.
But they don't believe that, though. They think Dr. Patel or Dr. White Man is going to come in and rescue them, and that's not happening.
And that's even without kids.
That's even without. Boom. Well, this is fun. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to do our intro, our exit out of here. I appreciate you coming. We do a wrap up afterwards, so we're going to stick around and do like a 2-3 minute wrap up after the show. I appreciate you coming on. Plug you guys' YouTube channel again.
So again, our YouTube channel is The Experience. It entails myself, Dr. Royal Rain, the lovely Black Pearl, and our gent, Mr. Chocolate, aka Tyrone Knox Jr.
Yeah.
So definitely check us out.
You guys rebranded it The Experience, right?
Yes, sir. We sure did.
Everybody go ahead and look on it all. You know, we had a few hundred people in here for a little while in here. So anybody that watching after the fact, please go and check them out, okay? All right, stick around for the after wrap up. All right, thank you. Be right with you. Where'd it go? There we go. Hold on a second. Yeah, got the struggle stream going good today, boy. There we go. We all
King. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, and I would never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get lost. I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold. I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play it, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play it, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before. Ready for the war, to get me way much more. Gather all these spoils, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need.
Yep. So normally at the end of the stream when we wrap the conversation, we normally do like a quick, and I do it live, wrap up of what we thought about the show today, and also any final thoughts or whatever that we wanted to talk about. So how do you think it went?
I thought it was dope, to be honest with you. It was different for me, because of our format, right? But it was dope. Yeah,
I try to produce the show. I try to make it look like a show,
right.
My best of it and go. And this was a little different for me because I am accustomed to having a full panel of guys.
Right.
I got all guys right now. So that was kind of interesting to kind of try to attempt to do it on my own. I'm actually going to do a few more solo streams leading up to the big one with the ladies. So I'm going to put a lot into the ones because I think it's going to be a big conversation with our ladies to look at their mindset. The whole goal is to try to have the conversation with them around like why they select the way that they select.
Right.
Believe it or not, a lot of regular old brothers don't know. We're confused. We're confused as to why. Okay, I'm over here. I know I'm not the best thing out here, but I'm over here working hard. I want this kind of woman. I'm living life correctly. Why are you keep having babies with these dumpster fires? And then and our ladies show up later in life after they
with that revelation, right?
Yeah, and they show up later, and then they want that regular old bro, and then he's looking like,
no.
Yeah, I would have took you, but now I got to deal with Petey's 4 kids too. So that conversation is to try to just shed some light, or hopefully, if I can get some honesty out of them about like why y'all do that. I mean, because it's not like I refuse to believe that there's this notion that the majority of our black men are in prison. That's not true. I looked at the stats last night. In the federal penitentiary, there's only 60,000 black men in the federal penitentiary. How's that the majority of us when there's 18.5 million black men in this country? That ain't nowhere. That's a drop in the bucket. That's an absolute drop in the bucket as far as now. There are absolutely more black men in state prison.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you about the state prisons.
Yeah, but state prison. It's about 1.1 or 1.2 million, somewhere around there in state prisons. Which that begs you to understand what's going on with these states.
Right.
And believe it or not, my home state has the highest incarceration rate of any black man in any country. My home state is Wisconsin.
Wow.
They have more black men incarcerated in their state system than any other state. I mean, I was blown by that. But that still doesn't speak to the fact that the majority of, because you hear a lot, most of our black men are in prison. No, they're not. No, they're not. Your regular old brothers out here. 54% of black men are single between the ages of 25 and 55 are single, childless, and earn enough money to be considered middle class. Your regular old bro. They're out here. You know, I had a conversation with a lady a few weeks back at my job, you know, and she was talking about, you know, I was telling her, I said, you know, there's plenty of black men. And I said, there's plenty of black men who work here. She goes, ain't no black men. Don't mind a black men work here. I only see you and maybe like one other guy. I said, lady, this place is littered with black men. I said, the reason why you don't know that, I said, I hate to say this to y'all, because y'all ignore us. And I told her, I say, and y'all hold on to these jobs like they're your lifeline. I said, a white woman to come to a job and see a white man on the job, and if she's available, he's available, she going after that dude. She don't care nothing about that damn job. She gonna go after him, get him to marry him, give his baby so she can go home and let him worry about a job. Y'all ignore black. And I actually, because I work overnights, I walked her through the building. I walked her to different
departments,
different departments,
and
introduced her to the volume of black men that just worked on nights.
Wow.
I work in a hospital. We're talking about nurses, male CNAs, male nurses, security guards, maintenance guys, lab techs, EMS guys.
But she hadn't paid any attention.
No, had no idea there was that many black men that worked there.
Wow.
And I told her, I said, at the beginning of your shift, I said, come 10 minutes early, walk in the cafeteria. Most of the black men come early. We all sit in the cafeteria and we all sit around each other, laughing and talking, all walks of life. You got black men doctors up in there.
Right.
And they all single. And y'all ignore them. That's why you don't know, because you ignore them. And she refused to believe that she ignored black men. Well, then if you don't ignore black men, how do you not know that there's that many of us here?
Right.
This is just night shift. We're not talking about day shift.
Right. Right. And that's what most are, because most people prefer to work day shift. So I feel you.
On a day shift.
Right.
You ignore the regular old bro. The regular bro at the gas station. You know, he pull up in his Charger, he smile at you and you scowl at him. Like, why would you do that? You know? We're out here, and so I'm going to, hopefully with that stream, I'm going to attempt to try to get to I wouldn't say the bottom of it, but try to at least get to some understanding. Some understanding about why this is going on. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I'll go ahead.